With Machikari, and you want to know how you can support the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll be notified every time a new video gets downloaded. And how you doing? Welcome back. Now let's attack the gorilla in the room, shall we? And this is something that I haven't done over at Motorcycle Madhouse because, quite frankly, I thought it was always BS. But it seems like there's a big movement out there in regards to labeling motorcycle clubs criminal organizations. Now, before we get into that, let's define a criminal organization, shall we? Let's take La Costa Nostra. You have a boss at the top, then you have your underbosses, then you got your capos, and then your soldiers. Now, that whole organization is there to benefit its members and its boss, you know, the whole family in general. Again, let's recap that again. It's there to benefit all its members in the activity that it does. Now, let's flip it over to motorcycle clubs. Now, you got a lot of these yahoos out there preaching, well, you know, the government, they're the ones who define these clubs as gangs or criminal organizations. Well, famously, we got the stuff going on at the West Coast where the jury came back and, you know, nobody was going to jail. It was just a RICO case where the government could use that as a stepping stone to try to take the Mongols' patch away. Now, when it comes to motorcycle clubs and real criminal organizations, as I call it, there's a huge difference. With motorcycle clubs, they're there, the members are there actually, for the brotherhood, the riding, and the camaraderie. Like any other organization out there, you're going to have a few bad apples. Or you might have many. You might have a whole chapter, whatever. Let's just, you know, put it at a whole freaking chapter. So a whole chapter goes rogue. Does their thing, whatever. And you can't sit there and expect to label an entire organization criminal because what that chapter is doing is just benefiting them. It's not benefiting the whole freaking club as a whole. Now, again, what was the earlier definition? Each member of that organization benefits from something. Now, let me tell you, with motorcycle clubs, yeah, I've been around them and stuff like that. I've been in them. And one of the biggest things that a member faces in a motorcycle club is the money. Now, the money having to do with dues, traveling, and stuff like that. It is expensive to be a member of a motorcycle club. That's why when people ask me, you know, what should I do? I always say go with a riding club or just stay independent. Because a motorcycle club, it takes a lot of freaking commitment, not only to the membership and being a member and being there for your brother and stuff like that when they need you, but it takes a lot of money. And if you look at 99.999% of the people in motorcycle clubs, they're not rich and they're having problems paying them dues. They're having problems going on the road trips, you know, nationwide and stuff like that. They are having a hard time. Now, if you are trying to sit there and consider them a criminal organization, you would think anything that they do, they would, you know, make some money off of, you know, they would benefit from whatever's going on with that organization. And this is where you get a lot of pushback from people, not only myself, but Motorcycle Profiling Project, you know, the Confederation of Clubs. You're going to get pushback on this when you're going to go around and say, hey, well, this organization is a criminal organization. Because that couldn't be furthest from the truth, man. You know what? Not everybody's benefiting from what some yahoos are doing over here. And if it was a true criminal organization like the feds claim, everybody would be benefiting. Everybody would be driving around in Cadillacs, or they'd be having brand new $50,000 bikes. And again, that's furthest from the truth, and that is not happening out there. Now, when you got these yahoos out on the internet saying, well, you know, I've studied this so much, blah, 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 you know, especially when it pertains to the Mongol case. Now, if you look at that case, especially when you listen to what the Mongols attorney, Stephen, had to say, it all those RICO counts that they were convicted on happened when that rat, Doc Cabeas, was in charge. The rest of the counts that they were acquitted on happened now. You know, they weren't convicted of that shit. You know, so the Mongols even came out and said, and this has to do with most motorcycle clubs are trying to get rid of all the bad apples. And why are they trying to do that? Because they know that they don't need this much heat brought onto them by a bunch of idiots when everybody else ain't benefiting from what the hell they're doing. Now, take me for example, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Now, you have somebody say, hey, man, we need you to do this, or we need you to do that, or, you know, can you go flip this or flip that? I'm going to say, okay, what the fuck's in it for me? Because now at that point, it's not about a motorcycle club. Now it's, you know, at that point, you're at the street level where, okay, man, I don't do shit for free, so what the hell am I making out of this deal? And that's why the argument of motorcycle clubs being criminal organizations is a bunch of baloney. That comes in with the government. You know, whenever a government's able to designate somebody a criminal organization, it gives them a tool. It's called asset forfeiture. Yes, your government is making money off of who they bust. You know, you can go to those ATF, FBI, U.S. Marshal sales all over the freaking online. You can get them. They're auctions. You know, these freaking Cadillacs, you got bike, whatever you got out there. But you can buy them, and what that is a result of a bust that they did. So asset forfeiture is a major tool the government uses to try to beat down something they either don't understand or they don't like. Now, I look at the U.S. Department of Justice's website, and, you know, under OMGs, now they call it outlaw motorcycle gangs. Whatever. That's the DOJ for you. Look who's running that shit anyway. But they had, and it was funny, they had a picture of the top 10, and in there, and just because of my personal experience, they had the Black Pistons up there. Now, I can tell you from my time in the Pistons, not one time, none, zero, zilch, was any of us asked to do anything illegal or to go out there and try to make money or try to run guns or try to run drugs, run women, whatever it may be. We were never, ever, ever asked to do that type of stuff. So it's funny when you go to the Department of Justice's website and you see them bust on the Pistons. Well, you know, they do this and do that for the Outlaws, or even with the Red Devils, with the Angels, or whatever club, you know, the official support club of the big 1%er clubs are. You know, they tend to want to attach something to them that is completely untrue. Now, that burns your ass right there, because you know damn well you're sitting here thinking, well, what the hell, man? Nobody ever told me to do any damn thing, and I sure the hell didn't make any money. It was more putting money out than taking in. So where's everybody getting this stuff? Where are they getting it is because of the past. Yeah, the past during the 70s was a rough freaking period, and in the 60s. That's when all the expansion and all that kind of stuff happened. And as far as patches are concerned, that's something I'm going to talk with Dave Walters about. Because this is actually a series. If I go through every question that one guy had, it'd take 6-7 freaking hours to go over everything he actually wanted to know, because you don't want to do it half-ass and put out freaking information that ain't freaking true. But as far as the patches, man, those go back freaking shit to the Yonkers and the 13 Rebels. It was about racing, man, hill climbing and stuff like that. And then after the AMA came out with their stuff, boom, they cut it up into the 3 pieces, and the lore goes on like that. But, you know, when they said that they were outlaws back then, them clubs, it wasn't meant to signify that they were doing anything illegal. Basically what it was the American Motorcycle Association. They are like NASCAR to the motorcycle racing and hill climbing events and stuff like that. They are the sanctioning body of those type of events. Now, when clubs and racing teams, if you want to say that back then, didn't want to get involved with their sanctioning body, they went out and held their own events and stuff like that, and the AMA came back and said, well, that's an outlaw event and we're not recognizing it. Thus being how everything came along. So a lot of these race teams, you know, turned clubs and stuff like that, took on that as a badge of honor because they were rebellious, man. You got guys coming home from World War II that just got done kicking ass over in Europe and the Pacific, and they're rowdy, man. They want to get this shit together. You know, then you had the films come out like The Wild One and stuff like that. Actually, one of the clubs took a, you know, deviation from that patch from the Wild Ones and used it to this day. And that's how stuff started out, but it never, and then your 60s came up, and that was a rebellious time right there. You had Vietnam vets coming home from Vietnam, and you had all these freaking yuppies, or these liberals, these, spitting on our soldiers, calling them baby killers and stuff like that. So, of course, they felt like, hey, this ain't our country. We're, you know, not that, I'm not going to say that, but they didn't think, you know, they belong to that kind of people because, hey, they're getting spit on, and here they are freaking serving their country and stuff like that. So, yeah, they're getting rebellious and stuff like that. And any of the older guys are going to tell you, the 60s, man, hey, man, sex, drugs, and rock and roll was some serious shit back then, man. I'm telling you. So, yeah, the drug trade came into it and stuff like that. But it didn't mean a whole club got involved in that stuff, man. You had, it's just like any organization, you're going to have a few bad people, man. Cops, you know what? The other big elephant in the room. Every day, and I was doing it for a while, I can throw a cop freaking being arrested for doing some hellacious shit a 1%er would never do, or any biker would do. They are the worst of the worst when it comes the sex crimes, let me tell you. But they're freaks, man. But then you got cops out there, you know, selling the drugs, or, you know, roughing up dealers and shit like that. So they're not freaking angels either, man. And you don't want to, you know what, that argument, well, there's more of them than there are 1%ers, blah, blah, blah. Hell no, man. They took an oath. And they was supposed to serve and protect, but of course even the serve and protect don't have to go, because just down south with that Parkland shooting, they said the cop didn't have to go in there. It's not his duty, but that's another freaking subject altogether. But, you know, they do some hellacious shit. And for the double standard is the hypocrisy at its worst, man, when it comes to cops. And you wonder why a lot of the older timers don't like cops, man. Because back in the day, man, that's all it was harassment. You know, the reason why clubhouses came about is because they didn't want to leave the damn house without freaking going to the bar and getting roughed up or something. That's why clubhouses came about, you know, up and shit like that. So they invented that. And, you know, a lot of these events that you go to are mostly, you know, I won't even get on that subject, man, because I can go on and on and on and on. But, you know, let's swing it back to the criminal organization. You have to ask yourself if it's a true criminal organization in the sense of the word, is every member benefiting financially from what's going on? And I can tell you, almost 100% of the time, no, they're not. Not every member's benefiting. So, you know, it's kind of freaking ironic that the feds are going to go out there and say, hey, you're a criminal organization, when maybe 0.1% of the people are actually making any money or something like that. Again, that's human nature. Humans are going to do what they want. And you just can't throw a whole blanket over the entire club when it comes to a few individuals. Now, when that stuff went down during that rat Cabeas's time, I think it was 70 or 80 people got busted. And you know, what was that? Not even 1% of the club. So how the hell is the whole club a criminal organization when only a select few members went down for any of this stuff? No, use your head. This has to do with the federal government and asset forfeiture. That's what it comes down to. And the government's the government should be here to protect us from, you know, foreign domestic enemies. No, man, they're in the business of making money. And they're going to keep on doing that. And that's why you see that the feds have a 98% conviction rate, is because they can outspend you. You know, you don't have enough money to fight the freaking feds. Basically, when you get into that situation, it's what better deal you can grab because they're going to have the money to do it. So hopefully this little talk about our motorcycle club's criminal organization helps out, answers some questions. Probably not for the ones that are what I call Leo pole suckers, but you know, it is what it is. It's going to be like that. The internet has brought you know, some characters to the freaking motorcycle scene. So it's one of those things where they think they're owed a trophy, and you know, they're spoiled, whatever they are, but they're not men, if you ask me. But thanks for listening, and really appreciate all the support.